this may come as a surprise to you, but I do not answer questions during a test. And that may seem unusually cruel because, tests are high stakes, and a lot of times kids have anxiety about tests. And so when you tell kids that you're not answering questions during a test, that may elevate their stress, I guess. But there is a method to my madness, and I'm going to share first what I do instead. And then I'm going to walk you through why this works and then why I don't answer questions during the test. So instead, I give students an index card. And if they have a question, I come around, I give them an index card. They can write their question down. However, I don't answer that question until they turn in their test. And what this does, and what it did today, because this is from today. Number one, when kids have a question and they have to write it down, that process is helping them to really think more fully about their question. And I have seen so many times when a kid has an index card, they start writing and then they drop the pencil. They're like, you know what? I figured it out already. So that's number one. Number two, they're really used to this sort of immediacy, like I send you a text message, send me something back, like not to teachers, but just in their lives, right? Like they can use ChatGPT to figure something out. They can go to the internet. So answers are coming really quickly. And the downside to that is you really don't have time to really wrestle and try to figure things out for yourself. So having them actually write down the question really helps with that. And the reason why I have them turn it in at the end of the test is precisely today, I gave this to a student. He raised his hand. I gave him the index card and I was like, turn it in with your test. Because I don't want to disrupt other students, and I'll get into that in just a second. But by the time he turned in his test, he was like, I figured it out. Because now that I'm not coming to, rescue this kid from thinking or using the God-given faculties that he has, he actually had enough time and space to figure it out. He read the whole they had to read, it was a short text. He read the whole text, did everything. And then it just dawned on him. It's like, oh, wait, this is kind of what I need to do. So this is a really, really, really great strategy for giving any types of test. Now, let me just go into my why. Why do I do this? When I first started teaching at high school, whenever I would give a test, I had so many kids asking me questions, and a lot of the questions, I would say 90% of those questions were things that were in the directions, very just common sense types of things, or some of them were just kind of as a result of them just being so perfectionistic and just wanting to get everything 100% right. And I found myself zipping around the class. I'm like sweating, and I was like, you know what? Not only is this bad for me, but this is disruptive because once one kid raised their hand, it's almost like if you go to a daycare and one baby starts crying, then all the other kids start crying. That's exactly what it felt like. And I just, over the years, I developed sort of a method for really, addressing this. I was like, okay, first I was like, you can't ask me any questions, right? But then, sometimes I'm like, what if they really, what if there's a major typo on the test or something like that? So I settled on giving them index cards. Now, before I would give them the index card with the test. But I found that when you did that, then kids would just think of any type of question, and then it just kind of defeated the purpose. So now I only give them index cards when one kid raises their hand. I'll give them an index card and I'll tell them, and then afterwards I'll make a general announcement. And so today I had one kid, I gave them the index card, and there were several other kids. I want to say of the so I had about 30 kids today, a little less than 30, maybe 27. So of the 27 kids, I have 4 index cards. And I'm going to tell you guys, a lot of this is stuff that they figured out. This kid, she figured it out. Is it okay? I answered in Spanish with English translation in parentheses. When she turned in, she was like, I figured out it was okay to do both. I was like, yeah, if you want to do that, that's totally fine. Did we have to put the full sentence? This kid reread the directions. This kid was asking, do we provide text evidence? It was literally in the directions. And then full sentences, how many differences? I didn't answer this because it was in the directions. So I was like, I'm sorry. But that's my tip for today. I know this is test season, but beyond finals, beyond giving these types of summative or formative assessments, Really try this if you work with students, whenever you give an assessment and the questions just abound and you almost like hate even giving a test because there's so many questions and a lot of those questions are unnecessary. All right, ciao.